If you had to pick one movie that touches what our culture is getting entirely wrong,
Yeah.
Children of Men does it.
Craftsmanship on the technical level, this one is right up there. Jumping into a bus with the camera, blood ends up on the lens. The blood is carried on the lens through the sequence.
But as I was reflecting on the scenes, it feels like you're inside. How did they do it?
Can you name a better film?
Met a ghost of a king on the road when I first fell. Fire burning to my knees I fell. Met a ghost of a king on the road.
What are we doing here in this here LAMPC? We're discussing Children of Men, which is one of my favorite films.
Yeah.
And I've seen it more times than I can count, but yesterday I rewatched it with my girls and my wife, and it remains the good stuff. This is a incredibly potent film.
Well, jumping into it, I of course am going to go the very religious route with the Children of Men being the verse from Psalm 93, I think what it is, where they discuss it as, thou turnest man to destruction and sayest, return ye children of men. And I'm wondering what's going on with P.D. James, I don't know, writing such a religious story that it's out.
She was a religious woman.
Just not the right religious.
No, she's great.
Oh, okay.
P.D. James is dead and in heaven.
Okay.
But yeah, the book itself, this is one of those rare situations where, not to speak ill of the dead, one of the rare situations where I prefer the film to the book. I think the film is a significantly more powerful, a powerful narrative. And while not perfect by any stretch, it's not perfection.
Yeah.
It is actually just a really, really well told story. And while she explores with far more brutality, her themes of judgment. I think the film does it justice, and then also humanizes it a little bit more.
Yeah. So
it brings a little more payoff.
I mean, that question of judgment is something that's left really vague throughout the entire film.
Is it?
Well, I mean, I think what caused it exactly. I mean, there's the
I think it's amazing. It's amazingly clear.
Well, I mean, I think that they hint at two different directions. They say divine judgment is one of them. I think they hint at some environmental factors as well. They also say, I think male infertility is the one that's specifically flagged. So, I mean, I guess I was thinking that it seems clear that she's left it vague enough, or perhaps Cuaron left it vague enough that we can explore.
Yeah, the book's clear that it's judgment. It's just, this is what man has been rushing after for a very long time, but then God just gave it to them. I think the film is clear that it's judgment as well. There is no clarity. There is no clarity on why.
Yes.
What happened? It just happened. It happened worldwide overnight. We have this hippie midwife testifying that it was just all of a sudden in 1 week, the miscarriages started.
Right.
And then accelerated the next week. And then soon she just had no pregnancies. She just had this blank spot 7 months out, and she called a friend and a sister, and like the midwife lines went out around the world, Australia to England, and it was all the same everywhere at the same time.
Right.
And there's no explanation. So I don't think there's much question in terms of the film, while they retain the sort of the agnosticism on the part of the characters, as they ought. They retain that agnosticism.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear what was going on.
Well, I guess what I was trying to get at is that it's not going to go through and explain this is why this fertility problem happened, and here's the solution that the Human Project is trying to solve through. The story is very much about what happens when a society is actively trying to destroy itself.
Yeah, self-devouring society.
Yeah. And
only Britain soldiers on.
Yeah. And I guess when you're picking themes like that, you've got the fishes as the underground. You have, well, maybe we better start with the characters. Probably best to start with Theo.
We can start. Let's start Google Earth level. So we've got total disarray globally. It's been 18 some years. Brilliant bit of exposition at the beginning with the death of baby Diego.
Yeah.
We're onboarded so quickly into the world, seeing the crowds all emotional about the death of baby Diego.
Yeah.
And who's killed totally senselessly, which is just also great.
Yeah, the newsreel style seemed really effective. It feels like it's been done a ton. I don't know if this was like early on in that we're going to do the newsreel style.
But the reason why it's effective is because he doesn't care and he's not paying attention to it. The crowd is gathered, like looking at baby Diego, and he is trying to get his drink. And then there's a bomb blast.
Yeah.
Like that's unrelated. But then post that, we go off to his workplace where everybody's still weeping about baby Diego, and he uses it as an excuse to get out of work.
Right.
So we have all of it, the newsreel, the emotion, everything that's onboarding us with exposition into the world is also communicating this character, this jaded, numb character. And so because it's not exposition,
it's not in your face, like here, I'm about to explain that 28 days ago, this thing happened, right?
I would say that it is in our face. It's really in our face. However, it's indirectly so. We couldn't possibly miss it, but it is communicating necessary character details unrelated to what the newsreel's doing.
Gotcha.
So we have the secondary information that we're onboarding while what we're actually doing is observing this character of Theo. But the world is hell. He says it's already started to go to hell even before the infertility thing. We have questions of capitalism. People are yelling about capitalism, oppression, tyranny, government, immigration.
Right.
We have all the immigration issues. We've got all that stuff going on. The fishes are a resistance group overthrowing, going against the terrorists, but it's unrelated to fertility. It's actually, it's actually just about the politics of it. So the fishes are fighting on the political level. There's this mythical human project that is totally outside of that.
In the Azores somewhere.
It's just outside of that and is represented by a ship named Tomorrow, which is an ark. We have this, later jumping, this mosaic thing, baby out of the water. But this boat, this ark that was alleged, but nobody's really confident in its actual existence. But we have this really pressure cooked world, intense tyranny, infertility, like just bone crushing decomposition of society.
Right. And then what's so interesting too is that it's not like people are sitting there in a lab somewhere trying to figure out the problem. They're existing. But what I felt, the average person, some sci-fi that you've read, they're sitting here being like, we got to figure out this problem. There's zombies everywhere. But this is like,
we got to find the cure.
Yeah. Yes.
We got to get the cure to Abu Dhabi.
Right. But
in the next 36 hours.
Right. Or, we'll never survive. But this one very much, our main character, Theo, exhibits perfectly the person who's quit.
Yeah.
Just quit caring about everything and is completely selfish. Sort of a microcosm for the world.
He's jaded. He's jaded,
just
broken,
maybe just
full of despair, drinking, alcoholic. Yeah. He's numb.
Yeah.
He's numb to it all. It's all over.
Now, isn't that usually a pretty hard character to pull off, though?
No.
Like, okay, because I thought he needs something like what's likable about him? Is it that he's different?
Okay, so here's the thing: likability comes later. We've talked about this before too. I don't remember related to fiction or film, but what we need is connection.
Right.
And this is being kind of like when everybody else is being emotional, being jaded. We actually admire that character more than the emotional basket case. We definitely on board more with the person who is not emotionally melting down when the crowd is melting down.
Okay.
We can sympathize with the numb, the jaded, the cynical a lot more easily than with the erratic.
Yeah.
And unstable. So the thing that he is stable. He is
okay.
He has this.
So in a world that's completely shaken up, we do gravitate toward the people with actual gravity.
Yeah, exactly. So he has stability. We, like all the dogs and all the animals in the film, gravitate to this guy.
To Theo.
He's named Theo for a reason.
Right.
It's like, so there's this, he bears the image of God, but he's also, as a child of man, he is currently fallen, despairing, broken, hopeless. And I think hopelessness is his biggest trait. So all of his, his jadedness is relatable, but too much. And so when he snaps in unbelief on his friend Jasper, when Jasper refers to starts telling a joke about the Human Project, and he snaps about the Human Project, it's stupid, all these things, and Jasper's like, I'm just trying to tell a joke, man. Like, it's like, all right, fine.
Yeah.
That's his flaw. His character flaw is a lack of faith, a lack of hope, a lack of belief. Mm-hmm. Like, he is full of despair. He is stable on the one hand, but he's also an alcoholic, despairing guy. Right. We don't get the impression, though, in terms of the narrative, that he is drinking out of addiction so much as he is drinking out of quitting. He's drinking out of that despair. So he's not, we're not dealing with him having tremors and having to find a drink or anything like that. He's always got this whiskey. Mm-hmm. He's definitely drinking too much. He's definitely an alcoholic. Right. But in the narrative, for the purposes of the narrative, that is not his battle with the demon alcohol. It's actually about him just, keeping himself numb through this.
Good. And of course we find out the backstory for why he's started off on this path later on, having lost a child in a different kind of sense.
Yeah. So in this narrative, again, welcome to the grown-up world where we don't care about spoilers. We're going to spoil all sorts of things. But in this narrative, his son Dylan died in 2008 of the flu. And his wife left him, and they couldn't.
They couldn't make it.
They couldn't make it.
Right before the whole world.
They met because they were protesting. So they were in the resistance against government, against tyranny. Had a baby, got married, have this baby, and then baby dies of the flu, and they respond differently. It destroys him and pulls him apart. He goes numb. He goes to the numbing route, and she goes to terrorist route.
Yeah.
And she veers into fishes and terrorism. Right. And that split. Now, in the book, this is one adaptation change. In the book, Theo backed over his son in his car. Ooh. And it's so much heavier, and his wife couldn't forgive him. Yeah. And there's also a level of creepy that the book explores with how broken people are. Being invited to people's baby showers for their kittens. Like people having pet, kitten showers and things, and women pushing cats and strollers all dressed up. All the psychoses that you would expect in a world without reproduction, without children, how broken everybody is by that, is far more deviantly and perversely explored in the book. And I think more accurately explored in the book. But in the film, we just wouldn't be able to hang on. Nobody would keep watching.
That'd be really rough.
It's just too much to experience that way. And also to the same point, Theo backing over his kid.
It's almost too much for us to handle.
The entirety of the film would be him exploring that crushing demon. Right. And he'd be working through that. And they needed to not have it be just about Theo's past. They needed it to be about the present and this particular narrative. Right. And so they had to soften that death, even though it's still miserable. It's not a death where he's directly culpable and this is his ex-wife whose son he backed over.
Instead, it becomes something that's pretty thematic of there's no reason for any couple to stay together now that there are no children, which is, I think, another one of just like, this sort of amalgam of society where you have it's kind of arbitrary lines between the haves and the have-nots, and we're just going to kind of blend the whole movie, just sort of like it blends in between borders and goes through fences, and we feel, that sort of mixing bowl feel.
It's also really difficult in these kinds of stories. It's hard to do what they do in terms of having different sides fighting, like having massive conflict that you're not part of. Where there's, there's these warring sides, and all you're trying to do is get this girl and her baby to a ship that might not exist. It's like to an ark, and you're not part of the fight. Mm-hmm. At no point is he grabbing a gun and
shooting,
jumping in, and it's like it is an intense action film, but he's not going Rambo. He's not shooting soldiers. He's not shooting fishes. He just isn't.
Right.
You know, he is not the action hero. He is something else.
I mean, it's very, what I was reflecting, hasn't been that long since I watched it.
Good. Let's dig you out of this hole, Brian.
But as I was reflecting on the scenes, it feels like you're inside. Like no movie seems to do as good a job with you being in confined spaces right next to Theo and feeling like you're alongside of it, but not a Saving Private Ryan style with a rifle, but as a watcher. Like that camera feels like, especially in the really famous ambush scene that happens, like with all the work.
The ambush scene is magnificent.
I mean, that's one I think we got to watch a little bit of, and because I'm curious.
I forgot to tell you the clips I wanted to watch, but there's one at the tail end of the ambush scene when the cops come and get him. Mm-hmm. That right there, the exit.
Oh, we should find that.
The exit from that one is really incredible. Thematically, there's some really interesting things going on here. And this is an example of art speaking regardless of artist intent. And so there could be things here where we could scratch and sniff, we could peel back stickers, and we could try to peer behind the curtain and see what Cuaron's intent was.
Sure.
But it just doesn't matter.
Right.
The art is, I'm curious.
So strong.
I'm curious, but the art is doing what it's doing. So there's,
well, would it be helpful just to run through? I mean, it feels like how many movies get this many themes just like crammed down from the top all the way to the bottom? Like Children of Men, we have obviously your expected crucifixion scenes with prisoners. You know, he finds out, I think, that Key's pregnant in a barn. It's very nativity. Obviously,
it's actually really forced.
Yeah,
in the barn is really, really forced, and because
explain that.
Yeah. He goes into the barn and she is surrounded by the cows. The cows have left their stalls and are all up against her. So it's one of those things that's not commented on, but the same thing's happening to him. So one of the things that's a thread through the entire film is animal distress. And the animals are just distressed. Animals are reproducing. There's animals everywhere. But then you also have humans in cages, animals running free. You have, so it's this reversal. It's like, it's this destruction of humanity such that they're now self-caging and self-destroying. And chickens, sheep, goats, they're all out, dogs everywhere, but the animals are the humans are caged. That's one piece. But even more than that is Theo's relationship to the animals. And you have, at the beginning, you have a German Shepherd going at him, like just starts snarling and going. And the guard holding the German Shepherd yelling, like, get out. And there's a transformation that starts to happen. So that later, by not too much longer, there's attack dogs that like him. And the guy's saying they don't like anybody. And then there's a cat climbing his pant leg. And he starts going through this transformation where he actually weirdly syncs up with the natural world. It's like things are right. Like things are starting to be reordered correctly. And so we see everything from the good old woman who's a Russian immigrant who's helping them, and we see her young picture, and we see her old later on when she's meeting the baby. She's got little birds in cages that are all happy, and it's all happy animal noises. Prior to that, it's a ton of barking dogs. You will never watch a film where the sound has this much barking. And that includes like Santa buddies.
Yeah.
I mean, you could watch a movie that's all dogs and they won't have this much barking because it's incessant and it's distress and it's like a car alarm going off in the background. There's just this.
Well, it's that similar baby. It's similar to a baby crying, that iconic baby crying scene of just a sound that can't be anything else.
Which is one of the only times in the film when there's no animal noise.
Wow.
Okay. It's like
I gotta think.
So there's tons and tons of barking dogs, distress, and animals that know what's going on. Animals that know know who Key is.
She has hope.
They know who Key is, and they know who Theo is. And they, like, the animals start to identify what's going on. And so we have the guard dogs at the fish's farm that like him and are not attacking him. They could expose him later, So they like him initially.
Right.
They come running up to him, and he like signals them like peace, and they don't bark, and they let him get away with this whole escape.
Yeah. Well, is there a reason that they're called fishes? I mean, I'm thinking it feels. Obviously, it's another inversion, right? So the people group is becoming animalistic in some way. Yeah. But I'm trying to think through.
I'm not sure. I mean, I've played with theories, but I was.
Yeah, there was nothing that didn't feel
this,
really
but there's
forced.
not something I can just. I think the name really works, but I think the fact that it's animalian, brutal actually. It's kind of weird. You know, it's like I don't.
It's wrong foots you. It's not.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a normal name for a group of terrorists.
It does feel as if you're supposed to be on their side.
Yeah.
When they're the fishes. And it really helps that way. You know, they're not, called the Blood Brigade or something like that. You know, it's like it's something that actually kind of softens them and then helps you with the whiplash when they're being evil. But also his ex-wife had been pivoted away from terrorism is what she was saying. And then second in command was trying to pivot them back.
Luke wanted to go back.
Pivot them back into bloodshed and terrorism. And there's actually kind of a sense of we're told the government did the bombing. The terrorists are saying the government did the bombing, but there's no reason to believe those people who report that.
Oh, right.
She's saying we would never do that, but the guys that she's saying that to are the ones who are looking to overthrow her, kill her, and take over the fishes and have them be more bloody. By the time we get all the way to functionally this massive concentration camp that is where all the immigrants are being dumped.
Bexel or whatever.
Yeah. We have jihadis, we have Allahu Akbar,
Russians.
You know, we've got all of this chaos and violence and so much weaponry, so many guns, so much violence. But Theo, thematically, he's stuck without shoes. He's ends up in sandals. He bruises his heel.
Oh wow!
Yeah. You know, it's like, and he's carrying a limp, having bruised his heel through the whole thing. Obviously, he dies wounded in his side.
Yeah.
And it's also via betrayal. So it's not some random from outside. It's actually the guy who murdered his ex-wife, who was her second in command, who actually shoots him. But there's so many things that are just, they don't like whip camera focus inform you of. They just kind of move on.
Yeah. The Pietà scene, the recreation of the woman with her son outside of the apartment, you know, it just it's hitting you over and over again with like, this is divine on the one hand, on the judgment side, and also divine on the fix. It does go on. I'm still obviously fixated upon fishes, but it makes me wonder, in a world that's flooded, like if this is a flood and we have an ark, that's what you'd expect inside. You know, if we're flooded, then I don't know. Maybe the fishes are out of there. The fishes are here, but again, I don't know. So that you have to explain it.
It's such a powerful film. It's really, really effective, but it's also so aggressive in its sound, and including its use of one shots and pairing the distressed barking and everything else with one shots is incredible.
Okay, so is that why we feel so peaceful with Jasper, and why it's such a rude awakening when the gunshots come and break that up? Like when they go to Jasper's house, and he stalls for them. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what's going on sound wise. Like Jasper has his wife who's
he's playing his classics, his old, crooning love songs. Yeah. And there's no animals. There's no barking dogs. There's none of that going on.
Yeah. And because I remember that feeling like a breath of just the first kind of moment in the movie after it all goes wild.
Because we have the explosion, we have his ringing ear. We keep a lot of ringing in the sound design.
Yep.
German Shepherd, etc.
They find, you think it might be okay when they find his wife. They have that fun ping pong moment where they're spitting the ping pong ball back and forth, and then the camera cuts to the burning car. And I don't know. I just remember feeling when you hit Jasper of like, whoa, a moment of we're resting at this little fake oasis in the middle, but we know we can't stop here forever. I don't know. What's up with Jasper? What's with Michael Caine?
He is a great side beat, but I think he's there on Theo's spectrum. Mm-hmm. So he's doing the exact same thing Theo was doing, but he has not lost all hope. So Theo's drinking. Mm-hmm. Jasper's growing and selling a bunch of drugs.
Right.
So Jasper,
both bad.
Yeah. Jasper is one piece with Theo. So they represent kind of the same thing. But Jasper is not despaired. He's not giving up hope, even though his wife is catatonic and if that's the technical term, after having been tortured by MI5.
Right.
And he's caring for her and he's tending her and he's being a husband to her and holding together where Theo flew apart. So Theo's family has flown apart. His coupling is gone. Jasper is remaining faithful there, despite having gone into the same dark place. Right. So I think that he and Theo are on a spectrum of the same response.
Gotcha.
But he is not fallen as far. He's not fallen as far as Theo has.
Yeah, that checks out. And then
that's why That's why Theo runs there too. That's where Theo
he gravitates
and he decompresses Theo with his like, I'm telling a joke, dude. Like let it, let go of the anger and the defensiveness and everything else. He's chilling him out.
And at the same time,
but it's still just a sedative. There's no real hope here.
Right. Because he euthanizes his wife before the scene.
And his dog.
So
there is a dog, which is we're not dealing with. We're just not dealing with the constant freak out. His alarms, like he obviously has his Zen music that he uses as his motion detector alarm.
Yeah.
Super, super crazy and is sort of representative of the chaos they've come from.
Yeah.
But yeah, he kills his wife.
Right.
Which is like,
Yeah. I mean, that scene right there, you just know Jasper is also part of the world. For as much as he is kind of outside of it, it's no, we're still here in this place with no hope. You can't stop in the middle of the woods.
I think
you got to keep going.
Yeah, and Jasper's personality and his whole coping mechanism is represented. Now, I would say this is more kind of like what Terry Gilliam's Brazil does, where there's laughter and insanity is your only escape. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like that's it. Now that's not all that there is to Jasper, but him getting shot while telling the dude to pull his finger,
right?
Like that kind of defiant, like petulant, childish humor while being murdered. Like that's what he hangs on to. So first he says, pull my finger. And he's like, fine, I'll do it. And the guy shoots his hand, and then he, goes down and gets shot again and is dying and holds up his hand, says, pull my finger. The guy kills him.
Yeah. It is true. I think it is. I could be wrong about this, but I think it is the good guys who have the humor. I mean, you have Key and Theo making a joke about virgin birth, which obviously is yet another example of highlight, hey, in case you missed what's going on. But I'm trying to think of any of the bad guys are all.
Sid's trying to be funny.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
He's trying to be humorous, but he's immediately biting and awful. Gives us the only, if I can remember correctly, Theo's only real action moment in terms of like resorting to violence.
Okay.
Like when Theo resorts to violence, he picks up a car battery and crushes Sid's head and immediately bruises his heel. And so he like Sid comes through and Sid is the government. Sid is representative of the of tyranny and everything else. Crushes his head with a car battery, and then as he's leaving that, like injures his foot because he's wearing flip-flops and is hobbled for the rest of the time.
I guess Theo does get a couple guys on the motorcycle with the door, but that's in the middle of a scene that perhaps doesn't count.
But even there, it's like he doesn't kill them.
Yeah.
Both of them survive. One of them is dying in a barn later.
Right.
And we don't quite know why they haven't shot him. Like they pull up and it's like, why didn't they just shoot? And they don't shoot because Key is in the back seat.
Right.
and he hits him with the door, and they wreck the motorcycle. Mm-hmm. It's not quite the same as taking a car battery to Sid's temple.
Sure. Yeah, it's not. Okay. Yeah. Obviously, some of the sci-fi coloring, the dystopian coloring, the grayness of the entire thing. Are there moments there that you're noticing color coming in at all? I obviously Jasper pops to me.
I don't think the color really leaves the reel very much. Mm-hmm. Have you been to England?
Yeah, I guess true.
It kind of I think it kind of matches. It coheres. I think the one of the I already mentioned the animals, but one of the least commented on by the film, but just ever present factors thematically is the animals. It is the livestock.
Okay.
And so when Key's in the barn, the fact that the cows cluster around her and pack in like a skirt, like she's literally wearing the livestock. So she strips, right? To convince Theo that she's actually pregnant. It's one of those moments that you can add a filter and skip and still get the pregnant belly. But it's like she actually like drops her tunic to show Theo her pregnant belly, but she's actually wearing the cattle. Like the cattle are around her like a skirt pressing in on her. And in this dairy barn, it's like, why? The film doesn't explore it, doesn't talk about it. She's just in the midst of the cows.
Yeah.
They're all seeking her, and they're not all frantic and mooing. They're just still. You know, they're just peaceful around her, the way the dogs just were around Theo. And it's that kind of a thing where why do we start when we're in this old Russian woman's flat? Why do we start on the birds? Like we move from the birds who are not freaking out, are just cheerfully tweeting onto the baby. It's like there's a lot of that happens. The rightly ordered natural world.
Yeah, a hint of Eden the right way around. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is what we need to restart this whole thing again.
So given that the animals are still fertile and reproducing, the animals are reproducing, they're fine. Why are they in such constant distress? They're in, it's just this constant disarray. And we even see the weirdness of people in the parks, like walking zebras and camels, and animals are everywhere.
Okay, I definitely didn't pick up on that one. I guess, what is the movie saying about hope then here? Because how would Theo have failed, I guess, in this movie? I guess he had multiple chances to do that, I suppose. So answering, what's his ability here? Is he the
He would have failed if he'd done the same thing that happened the first time, which is he has a child who dies.
Right. Okay.
So the fact that the baby's even named Dylan after
his kid.
This baby is Theo's baby. And this baby must not die.
Right.
This baby needs to survive.
Yeah. Which is interesting because, again, he didn't do the first, in the movie, he didn't cause the first death. It's not like he could have stopped that influenza. But in the book.
But he still failed to protect.
Sure.
And so he could not keep his son alive. In this case, this is actually much harder than just having a boy survive the flu.
Yeah.
This was crazy.
Yeah, to survive post-apocalyptic Britain.
and an actual battle, like armed conflict between factions of terrorists, a Muslim uprising, and hyper-violent military crackdown. Yeah. You got to go right through it.
Wow.
And so right through the whole thing, that was crazier. So the other thing that's interesting here is this is not, if you just get the baby to the human project, they'll be able to fix everything. Like it's more like this is the first sign of relief. This is the first sign of the lifting of God's judgment. Yeah. And the worst thing that could happen would be for the children of men, all these swarming, chaotic factions who are fighting, to kill that baby. Yeah. The first gift. Yeah. And so that deliverance, the baby is a picture of deliverance. The baby is a picture of this judgment being lifted. Right. Beginning to be lifted. And this baby needs to survive and get someplace safe. It's about the baby's survival and about him stepping into that role of father and and protecting mother and child through this chaos. Not about sorting out the politics, not about sorting out who's right, who's wrong.
Sure.
We see the cops are brutal in the concentration camps, but we don't spend a ton of time exploring the awfulness of the government. What we do see is the failure of humanism, the complete failure of wealth and humanism in his cousin when he shows up, and
the dinner scene.
Has his leg blown off. The statue of David, it's like, this is what failed. Like, this is the God that failed. And so we walk in and here's David. And then we go, next thing we're going to see is, I think it's a Picasso. I don't remember whether it is.
I can't remember.
But a big chaotic abstract art across the guy's dining room wall. We see the decay and the deterioration of this guy's collecting the art. And he just doesn't think about it.
Right. And his infantilized child too.
Yes.
Just
take your pills. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, it is.
So the other thing that's funny is if you didn't have one shots and these action sequences, it actually compresses and is pretty short. If there's not a ton that happens.
That goes on, right.
But the stress and the strain of these surviving these incidents, these different sequences of one takes, those are where all the stress is and where the narrative actually kind of like comes alive.
Yeah, I was reading, somebody was saying there are 16 shots that are 45 seconds or longer, which it feels like an eternity.
Yep, and the coordination behind those shots is incredible.
Well, how did they do it? I mean, I just was watching all the guys running down that amazing, down to motorcyclists and rolling cars and people yelling. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Tanks.
Later, sure. Everybody's shooting.
The movements of the battle, where battle lines run past them and then come back.
Yeah.
And then Theo, is jumping into a bus with the camera. Blood ends up on the lens. The blood is carried on the lens through the sequence. They keep the blood on the lens for a while, and they don't start to very carefully clean the lens. Like fading the blood off until later. You have to really look for it to pay attention to even see.
That's a 6.5 minute scene, I think, of the handheld where they're tracking through the war zone. And
Lubezki had to actually convince Cuaron to keep the blood on the lens. Like it actually, it sort of was initially by happenstance.
Oh, okay.
And then was like, let's like let it ride. It's part of this. Wow. Authentic thing. Now that's of course me just believing what journalists have said. I've not talked to either of them about it.
Right.
So anyway,
crazy.
And it also this of course brought us movies like 1917 and others that have explored Birdman. Have explored these long shots. Doesn't always work.
Yeah.
Doesn't always do what you want it to do. I think 1917 is magnificent. But just a complex one take is not actually necessarily what a scene needs or demands, or won't necessarily have the impact on the viewer that it does here.
Mm-hmm.
Like the immediacy, the urgency, the authenticity that it creates here will not always just be created. The crying baby and seeing the stillness that comes over everyone as we move through the soldiers and everything.
It's almost like the whole movie has to be of one piece in order for that to work.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to think through Birdman. I don't think I watched the whole thing. I like 30 minutes in, I was like, I get it. But
it's like, okay.
But that felt more of just like trying something.
Can you name a better film?
I have movies that I like more, but I wouldn't say they were
like
better.
What?
I like classic action films. Like
okay, like what, Brian? Let's say it.
Saving Private Ryan, or
you have movies that you enjoy more,
right?
Okay.
As far as crafting goes, No Country for Old Men feels like you're feeling a similar work of complete composition,
a similar masterclass. Yeah.
Movies like The Fall, I appreciate what they're trying to do, but they lose the realism a lot.
Yeah.
This one feels like it's on the razor edge of complete and utter realisticness, even though it's not. I mean, it's cinema, but it just feels like it walks that line between a really unique character with Clive Owen, or it feels like he's not the typical, not the Jason Bourne that usually shows up in our post-apocalyptic films, but instead what feels like a guy doing what he had turned down the opportunity to do before. Like that character moment was pretty great, and then the protection of Key, and then the other, just the foreignness, the alienness of what felt like it kept hitting Clive Owen and hitting the characters who are watching. I don't know that I can pick off the top of my head a better film.
Yeah.
I mean, when you talk about filmmakers and people bring up Terrence Malick or something like that, I've never been hit as hard. And parts of Terrence Malick movies I've loved, but never felt from start to finish like it's one whole composition. Yeah, similar to how Children of Men.
So if I were to go to like technical value, response value, objective value, if I'm thinking through craftsmanship on the technical level, this one is right up there.
Yeah,
as one of the best ever. Response value, I think, is really powerful. I think the impact of this film on the viewer is remarkable.
Yeah.
And stressful, release. Mm-hmm. I think it has built all the way up to that moment when he gets the baby out of a building that is under attack. And that scene when you're walking Key and the crying baby through all the terrorists, all the Muslims, all the factions. You have all the immigrant resistance. You have all the innocent victims. It's very Gaza right now, by the way.
Yep.
It's just all the civilian death. Yeah, they all stop.
I think they stole something from Belgrade for a couple of those shots. Like they were just like, this is happening.
And then, and then down through the soldiers, some of whom are kneeling and crossing themselves and everything, and the power of that
or
scene.
Other people who are cussing, saying Jesus Christ out loud.
Just the number of people who, Sid included, the number of people who just proclaim Jesus Christ instinctively upon encountering the pregnancy, the infant, it's amazing. And it's really effective.
Yeah.
Those proclamations. But I think the whole film sets you up for that sequence.
Yeah.
That sequence of the one baby crying, just silencing a battle.
Yeah.
Turning off all the machine guns and everything else is all of it leads there and is amazing. I think the power of the film is just up there. One of the most potent of all time. Technical value is one of the best of all time. Objectively, I think this is a very valuable film and could only be improved by cleaning it up. So in terms of, you basically, when people are the characters taking the Lord's name in vain, but the film isn't, the film is having Christ's name proclaimed.
I mean, it's very Flannery O'Connor when someone swears.
So that stuff's great. In terms of, we don't need Key to be topless in the barn. Right. It's like all the power is there in the belly.
Right.
We don't need the nudity there. I have zero problem with the birth scene.
Yeah.
Incidentally, obviously animated. This is a CG situation, but they did a great job, and that's hard too. I can't even imagine they're doing it in a one shot, and the visual effects artists had to.
They didn't have multiple cuts.
They don't have
together.
They don't have multiple cuts, and they don't have a stable camera. Like, that's incredible. But I think the graphic birth scene is effective.
Yeah,
and I think appropriate. I mean, I would argue for that. But in terms of if you watch this without filters, the constant profanity, sort of like the constant and actually obscenity, the constant F-bombs, like you could keep the film would not feel any less potent if you actually cleaned it up.
Right.
Okay. Now, I have showed my kids this movie. They've all seen the movie. And when they were a little younger, they all saw it pretty heavily filtered. They've all seen it less filtered now. But still, like, we can duck the nudity in the barn scene, but it's still powerful. It's just like, it slips a little there. So it's not the movie that I wish it was in every single category, but it is one of the best I've ever seen. And I can't instinctively, thematically and everything else, it surpasses. So it's kind of like in Olympic gymnastics, if you're thinking about what's your maximum possible score or level of difficulty.
Yeah.
You know, No Country for Old Men is amazing and one of my favorites. It's amazingly made, but it's not tackling the same thematic question.
If you had to pick one movie that touches what our culture is getting entirely wrong.
Yeah.
Children of Men does it. So
Children of Men, in terms of subject matter and everything else, has a higher potential. So it just has a higher scoring potential for me because it's so important. It's so necessary. So it really is, I think, one of the best movies out there. Like it's hard. Like you could jump in a Nightcrawler and say like, wow, this really communicates, you know, the hyper entertainment driven, you know, violence, yada, yada, yada. It does its job. It achieves its ends.
Right.
But its ends are just inferior to what the ends of this film are.
Yeah.
And so somebody could go craft something and aim at a different target, but they shot a rabbit. This is going after big game and achieves it. So I do think this is up there in terms of net value for a film. This is one that the
three corners we've talked about.
This is one I make people watch.
Yeah.
I've made people watch Magnolia before.
Yeah.
If they're in they're already in that world and they need, you know, they actually need to just come to grips with the judgment. It's not a clean film. It has things about it that I think are really, really powerful for specific people. This is a movie I would tell virtually anybody in our society to watch. And there's misdirection too, because some people are like, it's about capitalism. It's like,
oh yeah,
you know,
or the immigration ones.
There's the pig. See the big pig? That's capitalism. Like,
they're saying we have to read this whole film in terms of illegal immigrants. Like that's what we're going to read.
This is all about immigration, or this is all about capitalism. No, it's not.
Yeah.
This is about hubris. This is about the pride of man. This is about the judgment of God. Capitalism won't get you out. That's the pig. Capitalism is not a solution.
Yeah.
Humanism will not get you out. That's the Smash David.
Right.
You know,
violence won't get you out, obviously. No. You know, I mean, and I think too,
drugs won't.
I mean, it's very much like you can't control what's going to get you out. Like God, a moment of divine.
God can deliver you.
Divine
and only
deliverance.
God can deliver you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, if you tried to sketch, hey, I'm going to tell a film that makes the point that only God can deliver us.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I mean,
so yeah, it wobbles in places. I'm not saying the movie is perfect, but it's way up there. You know, this is like a bourbon that scores 99 out of 100 to me.
That's great.
It's not right for all occasions, but it's,
you
know, it's just really, really
good. I mean,
good.
You feel I think everybody, you kind of know he's not going to make it. But the moment.
We don't know that he didn't.
That is true. But when you see the blood in the bottom of the boat and Key's surprised, you see that through her view.
Yep.
That's a pretty potent scene.
Yep.
And you kind of are expecting it, but at the same time, wishing it wasn't.
Is he dead? Probably.
Yeah.
Is he successful? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would not like him to have been revived on the boat, because then what?
Yeah.
What's his role? But he fulfills his role. He achieves it. Crushes Sid's head, bruises his heel, gets the baby to tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's that simple. This baby has to live to tomorrow. So, and it is like you talked about the road. Yeah. And, you know, the man who's just trying to keep the boy alive, get the boy there. It's very similar in goals.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but this one pegs the meter for me in many, many ways.